What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another video, and in this video we are going to be going over Hawks and Twice's fight. Was Hawks justified for killing Twice in My Hero Academia? Well, we're going to be diving into all of that in this video, and side note, My Hero Academia is one of my favorite shows of all time. It is my favorite show of all time, so I hope you love this video. I know I'm going to enjoy it, so let's get started. First, I would like to describe to you the backstories of Hawks and Twice, because I want you to understand where these characters came from and how they got to the point they are today. First, we're going to be starting with Hawks. Let's go. Before we can truly understand Hawks as a hero, we need to understand where he came from, because his backstory is honestly one of the most tragic and fascinating in My Hero Academia. Hawks, whose real name is Kyoko Tamaki, might be saying that wrong, may look like the laid-back, carefree number 2 hero, but the life he lived before becoming a pro hero was anything but easy. His childhood was filled with poverty, abuse, and manipulation by the very system that later turned him into one of Japan's greatest heroes. Hawks' childhood. Kyoko Tamaki Hawks was born into a very troubled home. His father was a criminal named Tamaki, who was extremely abusive and consistently on the run from the law. His mother, overwhelmed and scared, lived in constant fear that the authorities would find them. Because his father was a wanted criminal, Kyoko Hawks basically grew up hidden from the world. He wasn't allowed to go outside much, he couldn't make friends, he couldn't live a normal life. Instead, he spent most of his childhood locked away in a small apartment, isolated from society. The one bright thing in Hawks' life was his quirk, fierce wings. Even as a child, he had a pair of bright red wings and the ability to control feathers individually. But his parents didn't see his quirk as something heroic. His mother actually viewed it as a burden. She constantly told him to hide his wings so nobody would notice them. She feared that if anyone recognized him, the authorities might connect him to his father. So instead of feeling proud about his ability, Hawks grew up believing he had to hide who he really was. The All Might inspiration. Despite living in isolation, Hawks still managed to find one source of hope. A small Endeavor plush toy sat in his home, and he would spend hours watching hero news on television. But the hero who truly inspired him was All Might, the symbol of peace. Seeing heroes saving people on TV gave Hawks something he desperately needed: hope. He dreamed that one day he could become someone who helped people the way those heroes did. Even though he was tired in a terrible environment, that dream kept him going. The day everything changed. Eventually, Hawks' father was caught by the authorities, and the hero responsible for capturing him was Endeavor. After his father was arrested, the government discovered Hawks and realized something important. His body had incredible power, full quirk, and amazing potential. That's when the Hero Public Safety Commission stepped in. Taking the Hero Public Safety Commission. The commission offered Hawks a deal. They would take him away from his terrible home life and raise him, train him, and give him a chance to become a professional hero. But there was a condition. Hawks had to give up his old life completely. His name, his identity, and his childhood would all be erased. In exchange, the commission would mold him into a hero. Several served their intentions. Hawks accepted, not just because he wanted to escape his hope, but because he truly wanted to become a hero. From that point on, the boy named Hawks, Kyoko Tamaki, became the long process of becoming Hawks. Growing up as a government hero. The commission trained Hawks from a very young age. Unlike most heroes who go through schools like UA High, Hawks was trained directly by the government. His life became extremely structured. He trained consistently, he studied hero tactics, he learned espionage and intelligence work. The commission especially turned him into their secret weapon. He wasn't just a hero who fought villains in public, he was also someone who could operate in the shadows, gathering information and carrying out dangerous undercover missions. This training is what shaped Hawks into the calm, clever, and strategic hero we see in the series. The fastest rising hero. Thanks to his incredible talent and the intensity training he received, Hawks quickly rose through the ranks of pro heroes. He eventually became the number 2 pro hero, right behind Endeavor, but despite his relaxed personality and playful attitude, Hawks carries a lot of emotional weight. He grew up without freedom, without normal childhood, and without the ability to choose his own path. Even as an adult hero, he's still tied to the craziness of the Hero Public Safety Commission. Why Hawks wants a free society? Because of everything he went through, Hawks developed a very special dream. He wants to create a world where heroes have too much free time. It sounds like a funny goal at first, but the meaning behind it is actually very deep. Hawks wants a society so safe and peaceful that heroes aren't constantly needed. In other words, he wants to build a world where children like him never have to grow up in fear. Now I'm going to explain to you Twice's backstory. It won't be as long as Hawks. The introduction. One of the most tragic and surprisingly emotional villains in My Hero Academia is the character known as Twice. At first glance, Twice seems like a comic relief. He constantly argues with himself, says opposite things in the same sentence, and behaves in chaos and unpredictable ways. But once you learn his backstory, you realize the reason he acts this way is actually very sad. Twice isn't a funny villain. He's someone whose life completely fell apart because of his own quirk. His real name is Jin Bagawara, and his story is one of loneliness, identity, and losing control of your own life. Jin Bagawara, early in life. Before becoming a villain, Jin Bagawara actually had a pretty normal start to life. However, things quickly went downhill for him at a young age. His parents died when he was still a teenager, leaving him completely alone, with no family to support him. Without guidance or stability, Jin struggled to keep his life together. Eventually, he got a job and tried to live normally, but even that didn't last long. One day, Jin got into a serious motorcycle accident. The accident caused him to lose his job, and without money or support, system and life began spiraling downward. With no family, no job, and nowhere to go, Jin started becoming desperate. The power of his quirk. Jin's quirk is called Double. This ability allows him to create perfect duplicates of people or objects. These clones can move, think, and act independently, almost like real people. At first, Jin used this ability to try and make life easier for himself. He created clones for himself to help with work and daily tasks, but things didn't go the way he expected. The clones rebelled. Eventually, Jin created too many copies of himself. Because the clones believed they were the real Jin, they began arguing with each other about who was the original one. This led to a massive conflict between the clones. The duplicates started fighting each other in an attempt to prove which one of them was the real person. By the time the chaos was over, all of the clones had destroyed each other. Only one Jin was left standing, losing his sense of identity. After that experience, Jin was never the same. The problem was that he no longer knew if he was the original person or just another clone. Imagine living with the constant fear that you might not even be the real you. That thought completely shattered Jin's sense of identity. From that point forward, he developed severe psychological issues. This is why Twice consistently argues with himself and speaks in opposites. Part of him is always questioning whether he even truly exists. To cope with his fear, he began wearing his full body mask and suit, and then the mask helped him feel stable and kept this mind from completely falling apart. Finding the League of Villains. For a long time, Jin wandered through life completely alone, but everything changed when he encountered the League of Villains. For the first time since losing his parents, Jin found a group of people who actually accepted him. Members like Shigaraki and Toga treated him like he belonged. They didn't see him as broken or strange. They saw him as part of their team. Because of this, Twice became extremely loyal to the League. To him, they weren't just allies, they were the closest thing he had to a family. Why Twice is so lonely. One of the reasons Twice fights so hard for the League of Villains is because they gave him something he had been missing his entire life: belonging. After losing his parents, losing his job, and losing sense of identity, the League became the only place where he felt accepted. Even though there are villains, they gave him something society never did, a place where he wasn't alone anymore. That's why Twice is such an emotional, powerful character. He's not driven by greed or power. He's driven by the simple desire to protect the only people who ever cared about him. Conclusion. Twice's story shows how a person's life can completely fall apart when they lose everything that contains them to others. Jin Bagawara started out as an ordinary person trying to survive on his own, but tragically, loneliness and dangers of his own quirk pushed him into becoming the villain known as Twice. And in a strange way, his story is one of the most human stories in My Hero Academia. Because at the end of the day, Twice wasn't just a villain, he was someone who just wanted to belong somewhere. I would like to tell you my personal thoughts on Hawks and Twice. So, for Twice and Hawks, I love them both very, very much. The first time I saw Hawks, I was like, this guy looks like he's probably going to be my favorite pro hero. And Twice, always loved him. One of the main reasons I love Twice so much is because I love Himiko Toga, my favorite character. And since Toga and Twice have such a strong connection, I very much love Twice as well. So I was very sad to see Twice die. And, my thoughts on them, because when the battle happened, I was like, I'm not a fan of you, Hawks. I can't believe you just killed my bro Twice. But the more I thought about it, the more I was like, it kind of felt like he was justified. So it was very difficult for me to recover. It was very difficult for me to like Hawks again, but I do. I don't mind him now. He's a good character. I didn't like him as much before, but what you gonna do? So, point is, love them both. Just kind of emotionally took a beating when this happened and was like, oof. In my opinion, it's one of the saddest scenes in My Hero Academia when he dies. So, yeah. It is just very emotional for me. One, because I love Hawks, I love Twice, I love Toga. Love them all. Of course, I got very emotional first time I watched it. And, funny enough, I think it is the only time that I cried in My Hero Academia. Yes, I love Toga more. When she died, I didn't really cry as much, but at the same time, it was kind of a different mindset. Point is, for me personally, this is like the saddest moment in My Hero Academia, personally. Now, I'm not saying it is the saddest moment, I'm saying for me, it is the saddest moment. So, those are just like my own opinions on the situation. Okay, now it's time for the moment you've all been waiting for. Is Hawks justified for killing Twice? Well, let's look at how they got into this situation. So, Hawks has been secretly infiltrating the League of Villains for a while now. He even pretended to kill Best Jeanist to the point of fooling Dobby. And now he is in their ranks. Twice considers Hawks a friend. But that makes this even more sad. As we've discussed before, Twice, a very sad dude, and he deeply loves his friends. He loves them so much. And I love Twice more than Hawks. But I do still love Hawks. So I was very sad to see Twice go. And now Hawks, he's infiltrated the League. Twice sees Hawks as a friend. And that makes it more sad, because if Twice struggles with friends, and if Twice thinks Hawks is a friend, then that just makes it even more sad, because from Twice's perspective, he was betrayed. And it also hurts Twice even more, because this has happened before. Twice blames himself for this. A while back, Twice let Overhaul kill a member, and Twice blamed himself. It was not Twice's fault, but Twice still blamed himself because he brought Overhaul to the hideout. In this situation, Twice, again, blames himself. You know, it's like 2 times now he's blamed himself, which just makes it feel so much worse. So, all that aside, was Hawks justified? And I'm not a big fan of this answer, but yeah, heroes don't kill villains often. Killing is not something we want to do. We want to throw you in prison. We want to give you a fair hearing, but sometimes you can't prevent it. And honestly, it is a lot to think about. Twice, great character. Like I said, we don't want to kill the villains. We want you to surrender. Okay, and let's talk about what Hawks did. Hawks, in this fight, he captured Twice. He had Twice pinned down. He told Twice, listen, I will help you out. I can get you a new life. You are the only one in the league that seems redeemable. You are not here because you want to be a villain. You are here because you want friends. You can't be lonely. Please, Twice, stay on the ground. Because Twice is pinned down by the feathers. And all this is what Hawks is saying to Twice. And honestly, who knows at this point? Who knows? But you gotta understand, like, Twice, please stay down. Hawks is giving Twice a chance. Hawks is being the good guy here. He's being the hero. He's being the criminal, the murderer, a chance of redemption. Now, if that's not hero, then what is? Okay, he is being a hero in this scenario. He did not want to kill Twice. He gave Twice an option, and Twice did not take it. But it's not surprising Twice did not take this option, because as we've talked about before, Twice loves his friends. He needs his friends. He's a villain because of his friends. If he didn't have his friends, he probably wouldn't be a villain. And Twice's loyalty is so incredibly strong, he's not going to betray it, even if he should. So, the whole league thought Hawks was insane. Hawks tried his best to keep Twice alive, but at the end of the day, if Twice stayed alive, more hard-working heroes would have died. He would have duplicated himself to become a one-man army, and they would have lost this fight. But because of Hawks killing Twice and keeping Twice down, the heroes ended up winning. So, that's the conclusion. And yeah, it's a mind twister. There's a lot going on. It's a lot to process. So overall, it's not the answer I want, but I do think Hawks was justified. And I'm in a way more fond of Hawks because I'm glad he respected Twice enough to still give him that final chance. Well, I hope you loved this video. I know I did. I love talking about stuff that I have a strong passion for. I love Hawks, love Twice, love My Hero Academia. So glad to talk about it with you. Till next time, peace out.